We haven't done a market update in a while, so let's chat real estate, and I promise this won't be boring.
Sometimes life just sucks, and sometimes it freaking rocks. We will discuss all the things from family and real estate to travel and just life in general. So take a seat, or don't, you do you, and welcome to the Lambadass Podcast.
I really like that intro, you guys. That's funny. I really do try not to be boring, by the way. So I'm very hopeful that when I'm talking about a subject that might not necessarily relate to everybody, that everybody can find something in it that works best for them. I want to give you a little update about the real estate market. This is probably going to be one of my shorter podcasts because I don't want to bore you with all the things that I find interesting. What I'm seeing in the market. So it's very interesting because Lambadass and Associates really works quite a few market areas. There's the market that we live in. There's the market that we used to live in. There's the market that we've sold a lot of homes in. So our market is very broad. And it's funny because I feel like in a lot of different other areas, that's not the norm. So like for me to drive an hour to a listing presentation or to drive an hour to show a client a home, that is very normal for me. And I know that for some people that's not. Or for some agents, they're like, I would never do that. I do. It works and it's been working for me. And so until it doesn't work for me, that was so loud. That was so funny. Okay, sidebar, where we film, it's like a school that we film at, and kids, it sounds like they're literally throwing their chairs through the walls. It's hilarious. I know that they're not, but it's funny. Anyways, so if you hear any banging or booming, that's what that is. Anyways, and it's distracting clearly. So we work a lot of markets, right? So like I work a lot in the Huntington Beach area. I have a listing right now up in Crestline, which is the Southern California mountains, complete opposite direction of Huntington Beach. I sell a lot in Chino Hills, in Corona, in Eastvale, in Fullerton, Norco. We work really anywhere from the beach about hour and a half inland. And we go as far south. I mean, I sold a home in Chula Vista. Granted, it was my sister's. And she was like, you cannot refer me to anybody else. So I said, okay, no problem. So I did take care of her house. And that was 2 hours from my home. But generally speaking, like the furthest south that I'll go is Escondido. I will go a lot further for listings than I will for buyers, just because buyers, I love you to pieces, but you take more time, right? When I take a listing, yes, that's a lot of time, but it's a lot of time that I can do from my desk versus driving and commuting and stuff. But generally speaking, that's pretty much how it works. I know that a lot of agents frown on agents taking properties that are not within their local, wherever the heck they are. But then my question is, well, where the heck am I? Because like I said, I sell homes all over creation. I really don't venture into LA County too much. My house literally practically sits on the border of where Orange County, LA County, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. But I really don't push too much into LA County. I will on occasion. I have sold homes in LA County before, of course. But for the most part, we stay in Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino. Anyways, I find that each market is very different. Each market is very example. If I listed a house in Fullerton, a 2-bed, 1-bath, we were listed I don't remember. It was like high 7. We had 7 offers and we ended up closing all cash for $827. And then I take another listing in Norco, which is in Riverside County, 16 offers, and oh my gosh, how funny, we listed at $765. We also closed at $827. Okay, that's weird, but that house had 3 bedrooms plus an office and a big backyard and beautiful pool and all the things. So I really think it matters on what market you're in. Now here's what I will tell you. If you are a seller right now and you are going to list your home, if you list it higher than what your agent is recommending, even if you've interviewed a couple agents and all the agents are kind of like right around the same price and you're like, listen, sis, I just want like $30,000 more. Tell your agent that. tell your agent, I hear what you're saying. You're saying to list my house at 500,000, but I really, really, really want 530, because your agent can then explain to you what you can do to get that 530 price that you so badly want. And I'm telling you right now, listing it at 560 is not the way to get your 530. I always tell my clients, we want the leverage to be in our hands, whether we're on the buy side or the sell side. I want it to be in my hands, right? If I'm a buyer, the leverage is in my hands when I know that the property's been sitting a while. When I've seen price reduction after price reduction, I'm going to come in and I'm going to swoop this up for a great deal. As a seller, the leverage is in my hand when I know my property's worth 530, but I listed at 500 because I'm going to build up the demand. And now I get to pick what buyer I want to work with. I get to pick with what terms I want to work with, because what 2 buyers want, 4 buyers want, what 4 buyers want, 8 buyers want. So you only have to come into a multiple offer situation with 2 offers. You just need more than one to become a multiple offer situation. Listed a property in Menifee, had 1 price reduction, and it's amongst a bunch of new builds, had 1 price reduction, had 2 buyers come in. Literally, we've been on the market for over 3 weeks and had 2 buyers, actually 3, because we did get an all cash offer as well. Had 3 buyers come in all of a sudden. And it's like, and I know these agents are probably looking at me like, really, lady, you did not just get multiple offers and it's been on the market over 3 weeks. Yes, I have. I'm seeing homes sit on the market just a smidge longer. I don't know if it's a mix of interest rates still kind of being where they're at. I don't know if it's home prices and sellers just wanting more for their properties, and so they're kind of just sitting a little bit longer, or if it's the election coming up, or if it's a combination of all 3 things. But I will tell you that these things are real. These things are here. So there are things that you are going to have to combat if you're going to list or buy a home. Buyers are lovely, but they are also being very picky with what they want. When there is a home that has been on the market for a minute and maybe had a couple price reductions, they're going to be a little more picky and they're going to beat you up a little bit. And once you get into escrow, they're going to ask for things that they might not have asked for had this been a multiple offer situation. I find that in multiple offer situations, the buyers tend to be easygoing, a lot easier to work with, a lot less stressful on the sellers, because they're grateful that they got the property out of all the other people. If the buyer knows that they're the only one that put the offer in on the property, and they know that you really want to close, they're going to use that to their advantage, and they should. So, I'm seeing a lot of that going on right now. It was reported by KCM, Keeping Current Matters, that the difference between this year and last year, the amount of homes on the market are starting to go up. That's normal anyways. It's normal for this season. Seasonality is really a big thing in real estate. So we're going into the summer months. This is when a lot of people want to move and stuff like that. So we get it. Kids are families specifically, because kids are out of school and whatnot. So we are seeing things, start to creep up a little bit when it comes to homes on the market. The great thing is there's more options for buyers. So if you're a buyer, great news for you. But sellers, you can still hold the keys to that property by just doing what your agent says. My advice would be to list it a smidge under what the going rate is in the area. And then I get the question, well, what, back to the $500 example. Well, you're telling me to list my house at 500,000. Well, what if we only get offers at 500,000? Well, then your home's only worth 500,000. Do you want to take 500,000, or do you want to take it off the market and wait to see what happens? I mean, the choice is yours. So there's a couple different things that people do in different markets. And again, as we go into the summer market, I think that we're going to see an uptick in homes come on the market. I think we're also going to see an uptick in buyers though too, because again, this is when people want to move. As you move forward, sellers, just be very aware of the market. I would have your agent running comps for you every week. If your home is sitting and you're not getting any showings, it's probably time for a price reduction. With a lot of changes that we have coming from the National Association of Realtors and in our MLS and all the things, they actually extended that, just so you know. Let me go back, and since most of you don't speak Lauren, let me tell you exactly what I'm talking about. On the MLS, it's no longer going to show the compensation that the seller is willing to pay the buyer's agent, or that the listing brokerage is willing to pay the buyer's brokerage. Initially, it was supposed to go in July. Now they're pushing it off until August. I think August 17th. I don't know why that's ringing a bell. I could totally be wrong, but I believe it's August 17th is when it's all coming to a head. So in order to find out what compensation is going to be offered to the buyer's brokerage, we have to start calling the listing brokerages to find that out so that we can educate our buyers when writing offers. It's going to be a pain in the ass. And it's also going to be very daunting for listing agents who have to answer those phone calls. It's going to be very frustrating, I think, for a lot of people. I have to believe in my heart of hearts that NAR, National Association of Realtors, really thought that they were doing what was in the best interest of the consumer when they decided to go this route. However, general consensus in talking to my colleagues is that this is just going to hinder home buying for people. So get in now. If you can, buy when you could afford to buy. Worst case scenario, we sell your property for you. I have to tell you that there are times when I personally will be going through a property and I am looking at things. I'm looking at the desirability of it. I'm looking at the schools. I'm looking at all the things that the average buyer is going to be looking at. If I get my buyer into a sticky situation where I need to get them out of it very quickly, if they have a job change, if they're relocated, if they lose their job, if the market tanks, all these things I'm taking into consideration when I'm showing homes. So to me, if the desirability isn't there and it's something that my client really, really loves and wants to have, I will literally tell them, hey, listen, this is a great home. I love it. It suits your family, but you mentioned to me that you wanted more children. This is only a 2-bedroom. Are you okay with your children sharing a room? Well, no, but we're not planning on getting pregnant for at least 6 years. Perfect. If you're not planning to get pregnant for 6 years, that's great. If you do get pregnant within the next 6 years, I'm going to tell you right now that you're probably going to have to sit on this house for a minute because you're paying top dollar and you might need a couple years of paying down your mortgage and a couple years of equity to be built up into it before we sell it to get you into the property that you really want. Are you okay with that? And then they get to decide for themselves. And then if they call me a year from then and they're like, hey, Lauren, so-and-so's pregnant and we need to buy a bigger house. What can you sell our house for? And it's almost a wash at what, if not a loss, at what they bought it for. I'm going to remind them of that conversation that we had. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have that situation. Or at least I'm not going to have that situation because I'm not going to have my clients get into a situation that I can't get them out of. For the sellers though, still a great time for you. This is still a great market for you. I highly recommend that you price your properties well. Agents, you need to be having great conversations with your clients about commissions. You need to have conversations about how it works, why your fee is important, if it is important, and why you think it's important to share a portion of your compensation with a buyer's brokerage if you feel that that is important. Personally, I do. So when I go on a listing appointment, I'm going to sit here and explain to you why I think this is a good idea. I think that a lot of times in unknown and uncertainty and stuff like that, people want answers. They want direct and solid answers. The hard part about that is the real estate market is up and down and up and down. Unfortunately, I can't predict the future or I'd be a hell of a lot richer and I probably wouldn't be selling real estate. Maybe I would because then I'd be making a crap ton of money. But, we can't tell the future like at the end of the day. So the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. So we can stay per the stats and we can say per this and per that and run all the analytics for you to make the best decision possible. But at the end of the day, people are always going to need places to live. They're always going to be working and want to be near work. They're going to want to be near their families. There are certain things that are going to drive certain people. People will still die. People will still have babies. People will get divorced. People will get married. They'll do all those things. So that's going to keep the real estate market moving. Just on a last note, I was actually I was listening to the news. I normally don't watch the news. I'm not one of those people that tries to bury my head in the sand, but at the same time, there's only so much negativity one can deal with. And I understand that the news is here to sell ratings and all the things, their business. I get it. But I was listening to the news today and they were saying how they're not forecasting rates to really go any higher, especially at the moment with the election coming up and stuff like that. I will say at the beginning of the year, they were predicting that we would have 5% interest rates. I don't know if we're going to get there or not. I know a lot of people are still like, just wait. So we very well may get into the 5s, and that would be great. I mean, all that's going to do is just create a massive boom in the real estate market. So maybe that's where they're kind of keeping it at bay. But oh my word, if that happens, you guys, all you people who got in at 7% interest rates can then refinance, and then your payment's going to go down lower. So, and if interest rates go up, well, you're still in at 7%. So your payment's not really going anywhere. So I still recommend that you buy. If it were me, yes, I would buy. I mentioned in my last podcast that my husband is trying to convince me to, dial down on the travel so that we can buy another investment property. So yes, 100%, I would buy in this market. I would buy in just about any market because, again, the truth of the matter is I am not I can't read the future. Like, I have no idea what the heck's going to happen, but I do know that I'm going to get older. I do know that if I can buy a property and put a renter in there and have them pay off my mortgage, even if I net zero every month, but they pay off my mortgage every month, or my mortgage monthly. They're not paying it off every month, but they pay off the loan amount that I have coming in that's due to the servicer every month. If they're paying that off, and I'm building that equity, it's kind of like a no-brainer for me. It's a long-term plan versus a short-term plan. So be thinking long-term. Parents, this is also a great way to set your children up for success as well, to help build that generational wealth, to help express and explain to them why investing is important. So these are things that you should be getting with your real estate agent and talking about if you're looking at other investments and not just selling your personal property or buying your personal property. Investing in real estate is one of the best hedges against inflation. So highly recommend that. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great week. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk about real estate. I am here for all the real estate investments. I think life is too short, and I think there's so much money out there to be made, and people just don't know because we're busy living the everyday life, going to work, coming home, cooking dinner, doing homework, going to bed, getting up and doing it all over again. So branch out. If you have any questions about investing, I am totally here for you. I can tell you what we've done personally. I am not a professional at investing. I would love to become one, but I am a professional when it comes to real estate, and I have been in all markets. I started in 2007. We all know what happened in 2008. So if I can build my business in a massively declining real estate market, I shouldn't even say declining, in a crash, I think I know a thing or two. Not only have I lived through it, but I built my business through it. And now I am where I am because I was able to feed off of past experiences. So anyways, I'm happy to help if you guys need it. And if you have any questions, I'm here for you.